with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about Conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Happy Monday. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host, and Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Mindset Monday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to chat about whatever we want to chat about. And today we are talking about gratitude. We actually are doing a part 2 of gratitude. Mr. Ozzie Daniel is here, based in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He did a part 1. It's been a few months ago now, but he is closing out the month, not on the last Monday like normal, because next Monday is Christmas and it is his special day. His birthday is December 25th. So he decided to schedule the week before. So we're going to give him that grace and wish him a happy early birthday. But before I bring him on, I want to hear from you all. Where are you tuning in from? We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube, and both are interactive, and we fully expect to hear from you. So if you will, let us know where you're tuning in from by entering your city and state in the comments so we can give you a shout out. Again, this is interactive. We want your comments. We want your questions around the topic of gratitude. So I see you, Miss Princess, here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. I see you have the holiday emojis up. Are you ready for the holiday, Princess? Let us know. Are you ready? I am getting ready. And this Tallahassee weather was a little chilly this morning, so it is getting me there. Right, I had to really button up today because it was in the 30s and this morning, and I think the high got around the mid 50s. So it's that time of year. Winter actually is coming up. I think the 21st day, one day this week. So official winter is going to be on December 21st. So it's that time of year. So I see you, Vaughn, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much. Hope you are doing well. And I know, and look, I'm complaining about this Tallahassee weather. I'm sure it's much colder up there. So I have nothing to complain about. All right. Well, while the rest of the viewers are joining us, I'm going to go ahead and read Ozzie's short bio, which states that Ozzie graduated with honors with 5 years of education in psychology and organizational leadership. He served in the U.S. Navy and completed many tours overseas, and sea duty extended one time for 146 days straight out to sea without touching land in the Indian Ocean on a helo carrier. And that's one that he will always remember. During his career, he served in many departures in the communication field and special forces in high terrains areas. He also is a servant leader that enjoys serving others while building a mind of faith and gratitude in the community, while working in the mental health field as a clinical family coordinator and mental health skill builder. Ozzie focuses more on the holistic approach to mental health that includes the whole well-being to enhance the quality of life. He also enjoys relaxation, listening to jazz, reading, and cooking his favorite Caribbean meals with a vision of opening a jazz corner one day for others to relax and unwind. And in keeping it short and simple, His one of his mottos is no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So y'all help me welcome Mr. Ozzie Daniel.
Hello, hello, hello. What's up, Nicole?
What's
Hello,
going
everyone, and good evening to you.
good?
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all of the D's and the E's and the X and the Y's and Z that go all into Merry Christmas.
All of the holidays, Three
Yeah,
Kings, Kwanzaa, everything is happening
everything.
this time of year. So yes,
That's right.
acknowledge it all. So Ozzy, even though I know you are a regular, there may be some folks who don't know you. So if you don't mind sharing, who is Ozzy Daniel?
That's always the question that always spark a light in the brain, right?
Uh-huh.
Who am I? I am that I am. So I am an evolving man. I would totally say that and experience many things through life. And I always say one thing: if you want to know what life is all about, keep on living and it will show you. So, in all of that, I've learned to just keep a humble mind, stay focused. And I'm a father, brother, and a friend to those who have known for many years. I even have friends dating all the way back to kindergarten that we still keep in touch. And it's just a wonderful thing of seeing the quality of friendship, quality of just seeing how everyone just developing over the years and the experiences to share with each other. So I'm a listener and I practice listening more than speaking most of the time, which some of my friends would just laugh, but at the same time, it's a learning and growing. And I just love life. And I'm finding more and more about enjoying life. That's why we're going to speak about gratitude because I realize over this year, 2023, it is the key to heaven. And
All
if you
right.
want to experience blessings in your life, you need to understand the purpose of gratitude.
Indeed, indeed. So we're gonna jump into this gratitude conversation in just a moment, but we have some more folks that have chimed in. Princess said, "Yes, my season for gratitude." Mom said, "Happy holidays and birthday to
Happy
Ozzy."
holiday. Thank you, Mama.
Uh-huh. Princess also giving a happy birthday early here,
Thank you.
birthday greeting. And my
Thank you much.
sister Shayla down in South Florida is on. Thank you for being here, Shay. So, Ozzy, in the bio, we talked a little bit about you working in the mental health space and you earned your degree in psychology and org leadership. What kind of prompted you to go into psychology and, and mental health?
What really prompted me into doing that is after I served in the Navy 20 something odd years, I realized the experiences that we all have been going throughout those years and the challenges and the stress and the ups and downs and the resilience one must have throughout all of these years to be committed to a task force. So it kind of placed me in a position that, yes, in order to serve others, I have to learn about myself even more on a deeper level. So the psychology part just kind of kicked in into, okay, this is where I need to start working into because even while I was in the Navy, I was a career counselor also. So I kind of work with people and I always been dealing with people and out of the blue, people used to just still come to me and have conversation and ask question and always inquiring something. So I just kind of say, well, is this a pull on my calling and it's something that I should be thriving to? So after I finished studying psychology, it kind of just set the tone, and I started just flowing more and just getting a more deeper understanding about it. Because even after finishing school, I always study some type of articles, studying books, and everything that relates into the subject, but also in the fact of really coming down to the core of self management.
Okay.
So if you don't understand self to a core, the dynamics is going to really take you in different courses in your life.
Gotcha. All right. Very good. Well, again, glad you're here. Thank you for just your time on Conversations with Nicole and the your consistency. I definitely
Especially while the Philadelphia Eagles is playing
uh,
on the
he
Monday
had to
night
throw that
football.
in.
So
He had
you
to
got to
throw
know
that
right
in.
now is much love, much compassion, much joy just to be here to
No,
share an hour with you, along with everybody that is online or coming online later on and will view this to know
uh,
commitment and dedication go way past such a
my
recreation at times.
my sister is clapping for you. Okay, you get some hand claps from her for being on the live while your Eagles are playing on for Monday
Nice.
Night Football.
Hey,
We got your Keitra on. She said hi, Ozzie and
oh,
Nicole.
hey, Jakeisha.
She said you have a special day coming.
Yes, indeed. Imagine this, right, Nicole? 7 days is the December 25th, and
Yes,
14 days the following Monday, which is actually 7 days after that, is
uh,
New Year's Day.
I know.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
14 days, we going into 2024,
We are.
you
We
know,
are.
and it just kind of set to my mind, even like a couple months ago, you know, it set to my heart to speak about this subject because it's about preparation.
Mm.
You know, some of us wait till January 1st or 3 days before to make some kind of decision on how we're going to channel through the new year. But the mindset is setting in, let's do it now.
All
Let's
right.
get our mind into that setting right now. That's why I love Mindset Mondays. You
Okay.
know, right?
Cool. So my mom said me too, which I think she's talking about the game. And we got Coach Merv on. He said, "How are you, ma'am? Glad to be on. Thank you for being here, Coach Merv, down in
Thank
Monticello.
you.
We appreciate you." So let me read my disclaimer so we can go ahead and jump in. And that is that all topics, past, present, and future, on Conversations with Nicole are for informational purposes only. They are not to be used as a diagnosis for treatment or an answer to any personal issues related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. And I do that because I do have a licensed clinician on. So we talk about gratitude. Before you dive in, Ozzy, I want to get the viewers involved. What do you all believe is the definition of gratitude? How do you define gratitude? Let
Yes.
us know in the comments. How do you define gratitude?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
maybe if you don't have a fancy definition, just give us a couple of words,
Mhm.
maybe some characteristics of gratitude. How do you define gratitude? How do you define gratitude? Let us know. I actually did a talk on the radio show on Michael Cork's radio show, Hallelujah Morning Show, and I focused on gratitude. I ran across an article that talked about ways that we can show gratitude.
Mhm.
And so it kind of started off by asking um, when you maybe think about an experience where you told somebody that you were grateful for them, either something they did or said, or just for being in your life. And how did you feel when you showed them or told them that? And then how did they feel to hear those words from you? So, all right, we got Iris on. She said, gratitude is being thankful for the simple things in life. Thank you
Yes.
for being here, Iris, and thank you for sharing that. All right, Shayla, gratefulness, being thankful, showing appreciation.
Very important.
Yes, love it. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Princess, not feeling entitled.
Mm.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Princess. And Marlene, thank you for being here, Marlene. She said, expressing thankfulness for everything, big and small.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
indeed. Thank you for sharing that, Marlene.
Mhm.
All right, I would even say some of the challenges. I mean, maybe while we're going through the challenges, we may not feel all that grateful, but there's a lesson in the challenges, right? Especially when we are able to overcome them.
Absolutely.
Hmm. All right, Ozzy. So we're talking gratitude. What you got for us?
Okay. All the answers, all the comments that came through, conscious appreciation
Yes,
indeed. Yes.
yes, Vaughn. Thank you.
Mhm. And one of the most important thing that I have realized over this year, and I'm counting this year
Hmm.
because every year is a new experience. You're going
Yes.
to experience something different. You're going to come into some experiences that will enable you to reflect. And that's one thing God gave each one of us is the memory to reflect. But
Hmm.
what are we reflecting on is really going to pursue us into the next chapter of our life. So as we always say, and I know, and even the word said that whatsoever man thinketh, so is he.
Mm.
So one thing that I kind of look at gratitude is this: it's a purpose about it, and it's two things that we have to be able to do. We have to purposely acknowledge it and appreciate the good things in life, as someone just said a while ago, whether they are big or small. It is an attitude of feeling thankfulness, or often directed towards other people, situation, or even oneself.
Mm.
So gratitude is so important, and we have to look at ourselves in such a deeper way than we ever look at it, because what we think and how we feel is how we're going to perceive everything around us.
Hmm.
So is it elevating us or is it sending us downstream? Because it's an attitude. So if we have this attitude of gratitude every single day, now we are cultivating a lifestyle that is so important.
Mm.
Especially in this season, it's a lot of people going to be experiencing many different type of effect or effect that they either experience or they're going through currently in this season. So it's a time of giving, but a lot of people are looking at how much am I going to receive this
Mm.
year, or what I'm going to receive. So now they're thinking in such way of how much they have to spend. So now here goes the stress level. How much
Mm.
they have to get in order to impress, which I
Mm.
always say impression lead to depression. So if you're not going to look at life in the simple way, just like someone said, the big or small, and
Hmm.
have gratitude for the little things, we're not going to be able to experience abundance. Because many of us put ourselves in a position like, when I receive such and such, or
Mm.
when I get such and such, now I will feel successful. Now I will feel like, okay, I accomplished something great. But no, we have to change our mindset into the small things.
Okay. We got Benicia on with us here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. Princess said she agrees with the lessons. So, sometimes I think, and I'll speak from the standpoint of being a parent, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes parents, we feel like we are working hard to provide and do all the things and really try to oftentimes make our children happy, right? And sometimes it can seem as though our children are a little ungrateful. Yes. Then we probably are like that with God, right? We probably seem a little ungrateful. God is providing, but we just aren't satisfied for whatever reason. So how can, what would you tell someone who was experiencing that? They were trying their best, maybe as a parent. That was my example, but it seemed like the children are just ungrateful.
Well, one thing I would look at is how we started bringing them up. and training them. Because you see, gratitude is a way that we have to cultivate it. This is not something that's just going to happen overnight. We actually have to train our mind. So when we had our children at a younger age,
Mm-hmm.
and in the development as we experience ourselves, now did we start out that way with them in the beginning, or later on we experience some things and now we say, you know what, I need to backtrack on my training and my upbringing of my children, so now hopefully they'll be able to change their thinking because my thinking changed and now I need their own to change. So what we started training them on in the beginning and the exposure and especially the environment and what they see, what are we really teaching them verbally at home instead of just saying, okay, I'll get you this if you do that, or making promises that we sometimes cannot fulfill,
Mm-hmm.
and then we end up feeling bad, and then sometimes doing things out of guilt and buying things out of guilt because now we feel like, oh, I need to make this up or I need to make that up. But
Mm-hmm.
is it really a great sense of gratitude, of appreciation? Are we really training them on these stages so they could actually have a well-being, enhance a well-being?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one thing gratitude does. It helps us enhance the well-being, by expressing gratitude. It promotes positive emotions,
Positive emotions. Okay.
right? And it increase self-esteem and
Mm.
also foster a sense of self-worth. So that is what we need to get rolling into our lives so we could really embrace the small things, because many of us don't look for the small things. So how
Mm.
many of us really take the time to look for the small things? Just like a lot of ladies will say, it's the little things that matters, the
Mm.
little things, but are we really, really paying attention to those things intentionally?
Well, and I think oftentimes, and I'm gonna, this is kind of a across
Mhm.
the board statement, it's the details. Like we tend to pay a close attention to the details. So
Mhm.
those small things do add up and mean a lot, I believe. I see Miss Sharice is on with us. Thank you for being here, my home girl who's in Atlanta. I appreciate you. Also, Joe Keetra said, thank you, Ozzy. As I age, I realize gratitude is expressing God's grace towards us and thanking Him for it and what comes our way.
Absolutely,
Well
Jakitra.
said.
Well said.
Hmm. All right. So you mentioned a number of things just then. We need to slow that down. So tell me that list that you just mentioned in terms of the different aspects of gratitude.
It enhances well-being. So that's the first thing about gratitude. It
Oh,
enhances well-being. And
mm,
expressing it, it promotes positive emotions. And and expressing those positive emotions, it helps increase self-esteem, because now you're starting to feel good about yourself. You're starting to have a greater outlook about yourself and your overall well-being. So when we pay attention to those little aspects of things in life, and when challenges come, it helps us to stay in that positive emotions,
okay.
because we are easily could shift into that negative. So therefore, if we shift into that negative emotion, everything positive that just came about, that we sowed that seed into, just got uprooted, just like that, out of the ground. So it don't even have time to germinate in the ground, to start growing roots in the ground, to start building that tree and really bearing fruit out of our lives. So when challenges come, are we going to really say, well, I thank you, Lord, for whatever is happening? Or are we going to start questioning him and say, why me? Why this happening to me? Why not somebody else? What did I do to deserve this? So now we just sabotage something that we probably have to experience in order to experience more abundance in our life. Because the essence about gratitude is to bring us to a place of abundance. But until we understand the small little things, we're not going to understand abundance because of this one word, gratitude. I had time to meditate on this thing throughout the whole entire year to the point that I said, you know what? Before the year end, a part two got to come out so we could go into the new year with the right mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
I will not share this if I'm not experiencing it in my life because once I start seeing my mind started focusing on that,
Mm-hmm.
I start seeing things changing around me.
So let me ask you this. You said appreciating the small things, right?
Small things.
And actually, my mind is I'm having thoughts around like how we pray,
Yeah.
and in those prayers, oftentimes I can recall hearing, you know, prayers that talked about our ability to see and to hear and to smell and to taste. Now, somebody might say, we don't need to be mentioning all of those things. It don't take all of that, right? The blood running through warm through my veins, my ability to breathe, my lungs functioning properly, my body functioning the way that it was created to function.
Mhm.
But I think there's so many things that we just take for granted.
And that's a true statement, Nicole.
Mhm.
So we all got teeth in our mouth, right?
We
So who really want a toothache? Every
no,
one of us have
not me.
experienced some type of toothache sometime in our life, and we know how torturing that could be, right?
Mm,
So therefore, the awakening come into a mind like, oh my gosh, I do not appreciate this pain in my mouth, and
mhm.
it is aching me so bad. But all the time we've been eating, and just enjoying whatever we could eat. But we never really think about that pain because there was no pain. But when that pain comes, now it brings all of our attention into that area that the only thing that we're thinking about is please go away. I
Mm,
don't want to tolerate this anymore.
right.
So I want to be pain free. But
Mhm,
now when the pain goes away, what we have now? Appreciation for a
mm,
little bit until something else come along, right? But
mhm,
if we just have that act of appreciation for those things, as you was just mentioning, the breath of life,
mhm,
be able to hear, be able to taste, be able to see, be able to walk, we don't have to wait to see someone suffering in order for us to be thankful for our health and
mhm,
strength, But if we get up in the morning and say, Lord, I thank you for health, strength, and courage, guess what will maintain and stay in your life?
right.
Health, strength, and courage, because it coming out of your mouth and it's really getting into the subconsciousness. So now it becoming more and more stronger in our life. So,
So part of the point of my comment too,
mhm,
though, Ozzy, was, we use the words big and small. And
mhm.
so, yeah, our tooth may be small relative to the rest of our body, but let that tooth ache.
Let it.
Let that tooth ache.
We
And
will appreciate all 32,
it's gonna be
33.
a really big problem.
Right.
We talk about we mentioned breath. Let us have shortness of breath, and we'll see.
Hmm.
You know,
And they have a name for that too, right? Called asthma.
well, yeah, or it could be something else. But what I'm saying is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my point of bringing that up is that you know we are labeling things as small, but again, if we are somehow without it, it can become a big deal. you know and so my point is that we have so much to be grateful for, like
So much.
so much to be grateful for.
So much. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so we need to be mindful of that on a daily, right?
And I totally agree with you on a daily basis. And having that kind of mindset, it keeps you in awareness. It keeps me in awareness. And once we are in awareness, now the appreciation, the gratitude just magnify in our lives, because now we're not taking anything for granted, and we're not having any kind of great expectation, that is not within our means, but we actually staying still and
Mm,
keeping still and just being aware in that space.
mhm.
And being aware in that space, the space going to actually start to magnify,
Mm,
because now we're magnifying our world. Because now, if we're great in the small things and appreciate the small things, we won't have an issue with the big things.
right.
And I think sometimes the Heavenly Father bring us into that place to get us to be aware of it. And
Agreed.
once we're aware of it, now He could pour more into our life. And then on top of that, with gratitude, it improves our relationships.
Mhm.
You know,
Indeed.
it improves our relationship, and it strengthens it, it deepens it. And now people who come around us is more reciprocating with each other. We're
Mhm.
giving and sharing, not taking and drawing all of the energy out of that person because that person is kind to us.
Mhm.
But now we have to look at, how could I connect back with that person in an area where I could be a blessing
Mhm.
in that person's life,
Okay.
or looking for that opportunity to be a blessing,
Okay.
you
I'm gonna
know?
pause you. I'm gonna pause you right there for one moment. We are a little more than halfway through our conversation. For those of you who are just joining us, we are on with Ozzie Daniel, a clinician in the Virginia Beach, Virginia area. And we are talking about gratitude. It's part two of a discussion that he started earlier this year. So you'll have to go back and catch the replay for part one. But this is part two. And so we've been talking around the definition of gratitude and some aspects of it. Iris said she agrees, big or small, truly is a matter of perceptive and circumstance. And Joe Keetra said, okay, forgive me, Lord, but yes, Nicole, we do, because the word says for us to taste and see that he is good. It always says for us to be hearers and doers of his word. But I have to admit, we sometimes foster entitled children and we don't realize that we are enabling them.
Mhm.
We have to teach our children through our actions as well to be thankful, grateful for the little things. And sometimes we forget to remind them, like grandma used to. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about,
That's
Joking.
number truth right there. That is
Hmm.
truth. And that's how we have to acknowledge these things, especially as adults.
Yeah.
We have to acknowledge it so we could demonstrate it to our children, because
Hmm.
they're looking at us, whether we know it or observe it or not. They're
Right.
looking for that example, they're looking for that trait. So if we're not really sharing these thoughts with them and allowing them to ask questions,
Hmm.
so we could be able to share and promote what it really is about, so
Hmm.
they could have time to think about it. They may not catch it in the first few months, but now is something going to happen in their life that they will say, I remember this conversation, or I remember my mom, or I remember my dad said this or said that. And that could just change their whole course of life
Yeah.
just by that one thing. So cultivating it is the key. It is something that we have to build.
Hmm.
We have to build. I don't care how old you are, how young you are, it is not too late to cultivate it. Why? Because it gives us a positive mindset. And it's also strengthened relationship, as I said earlier, but our mental well-being. What is more important than our mental well-being? What is more?
Hmm.
Because if your mental well-being is strengthened, your resilience is going to be strengthened.
Right.
So it really starts with this one word. I mean, we could come with many words. It may not sound all deep to many people, but I find the essence of it. I find a gold mine in it. And if you want to attract goodness in your life, and I want to attract goodness in my life, the key is gratitude.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because that actually is another aspect, and not that we are um expressing gratitude in order to receive in return, but
Hmm.
really it should come from a genuine place within you.
Yes,
But that is essentially the result of it, is that goodness does return to you. It's almost like, and I don't know if this is like the law of attraction maybe, but um in that you are putting out these positive, I'm gonna call them vibrations or messages, or what energy, um it will return to you. Then not necessarily by the person that you are giving that to, but it just has to. I don't really know how to explain that. It's one of those kind of supernatural things, but
it is. And that's why I'm trying to bring it out in verbiages and adjectives and all the different wordings that comes along with it.
come on, wordsmith.
It's just and without trying to go all into the different avenues, but it's just to bring it into the simplicity, just like how when we go to church at times it said to enter the gates with thanksgiving, enter his courts with praise.
Yes.
So if we say to do these things to enter in, it's the same thing when we pray. You have to enter in with thanksgiving,
Hmm.
with praise, glorifying the Creator, glorifying Him for the goodness, His goodness, and giving us the ability to think, to reason,
Hmm.
to use our five senses, or even our mind. Not even our brain, but our mind.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the mind is really the capitalist that actually take over the brain to bring the brain into the working to actually activate in everything in the body.
Hmm.
So the mind come before the brain. So not the brain, then the mind. Is the mind, then the brain. So we have to look at it from the soul level and the attributes that lead into these things. So I always say, and I've been saying that a whole lot this month, it do not cost a thing to be kind.
Hmm.
So be kind to somebody, and sometimes they say, I wonder what that person want from me. Why they're so nice to me. All of these things should not be questioned.
Hmm.
It should just be natural. But if we have not sink in and go within to find out within our own self to get understanding,
Right.
now it become difficult. It become a problem. It become, a callous to a point that it start causing issues in our mind.
Indeed. Jokisha said sometimes we only pray when we need or want him to do something, forgetting that God is a jealous God. Indeed. Ira said yesterday I reflected on this year's blessings in my journal. The
Mhm.
act of expressing gratitude in my writing and reflecting on it lifted my spirit. Expressing gratitude feels good. Yes.
Well, it sounds like Irish was in gratitude part one because the journal. Remember when
Yeah.
I discussed write down three things every
Yeah.
day that you're grateful
Yes.
for and make sure it's
Yes.
something different.
Yes.
So journaling is so important because you get to put everything on paper, reflect on it,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're digesting something because it came from you. And now you actually saying, look how my life is moving. And
Yes.
now you start to think on what changes I need to make it better. Not
Yes.
to want something to impress anyone, but for
Mm.
yourself. Why?
Yes.
To be a blessing and not a pain. That's
Yes.
the
Yes.
key.
Yes.
If
Yes.
we have that mindset to be a blessing and not a pain, the only thing going to come to us is blessing to be a blessing.
Mm.
Because now it's like a channel that could flow into others' life
Yeah.
and be a blessing into their life without anything in return.
Okay. So,
Because if we know the source, if
uh-huh.
we know the source, and there is no limitation to the source, there
Mm-hmm.
is no lack to the source,
Right.
we should never think lack.
We should never think like you're right.
We should
But
never think lack.
we do.
But we do. So
We,
therefore, we still on the training cycle, cultivating. But don't be hard on yourself,
right.
because it's all about learning and growing.
It
But if
is.
we have the mindset of I am learning and
Right.
I'm growing and I'm applying this into my life to see what happens.
Yes. We got Miss Teresa Nix on. Thank you for being here. She's here in Tallahassee. She said expressing gratitude should be natural, but so many people have ulterior motives that it causes you to question the intent. Yes.
And that is a true statement.
Yes.
So with gratitude also comes discernment.
Okay.
It comes with discernment, because as your mental health start boosting up and you increase resilience, now even though you have empathy and compassion, now
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be one that just so foolish to say, well, I'm going to do it just because. No, it got to be with purpose, it got to be intentional, but then too, it must be progress to it.
Mm-hmm.
Progress to it. So if we're not doing things to promote progress, now we're going to have regression on
Mm-hmm.
these things. So now we have to make sure that we don't have no ulterior motives, and we're not doing something just to get something, or behaving in such a way to receive something,
Mm-hmm.
and being such a skillful actor or actress to get something. Now we just doing things because we know it is the right thing to do. So
Mm-hmm.
once we could get our mind into that area, now we're gaining wisdom.
Okay.
So you see, gratitude move into so many channels. But once we have that thankfulness, even though it's something did not work out or something backfire or whatever the case may be, we still learn from it.
So I wanna pause there for a moment because I think sometimes, especially maybe in our youth or a lack of maturity, you may give up on gratitude because things don't work out the way that you wanted them to or envisioned that they would. And so, how do you push past that?
Journaling,
Journaling. Okay.
journaling. You write it down and see it on paper, and now we have something to reflect on. So when we reflect on it, now the answer is already within us.
Hmm.
So now are we able and willing to open our heart and mind for the answer to change?
Mm. So let me get the viewers involved. How many of you have a gratitude journal? Let us know in the comments if you don't mind. Safe space, no judgment. If you don't have one, it's fine. You don't
Yeah.
have to have one.
Well, if they don't have one, it's fine. But at least now we're preparing for the new year, Lord's willing.
That's right. That's right. So gratitude journal where you just write down the things that you're grateful for. Let us know. I will say that I do not. But I plan to start one. And I'm looking back at my notes from the last time you were here.
Oh, okay.
And well, the last time we talked about gratitude, and that was back on ooh, January 30th.
Is that
And
right? So here it is. We started the year off
with gratitude.
and
Yeah,
ending the year
with
on
gratitude.
gratitude.
Yeah,
Isn't that so amazing?
it is. It is. And so the takeaways were to have a gratitude journal, write down three things. Number two was what did I learn from the experience and how can I make it better?
Hmm.
Yeah. So all right. So Audrey, hey Audrey, thank you for being here. She said, I don't. It's okay. I don't either. Jokeetra, I have one, but don't write in it. All right, we got to work on that, Jokeetra. Iris, I journal daily. I have been doing so since 2019. Okay, that's great that you journal daily, but do you do gratitude in those journal entries? That's what I want to know. All right, she said, I write in my journal about a variety of topics, including things I'm grateful for. Okay, thank you. All right, Audrey, I do express gratitude, gratefulness daily and throughout the day. Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right, mom said I don't. Okay, that's fine. Actually, my counselor has been wanting me to write in this journal, which ugh, the thought of that just but she told
So
me
I have a question for you, Nicole. What is holding you back of expressing yourself on paper? What are you scared or worried or anxious about that may flood out of your soul on these paper, and how many pages and books you may come out of it in one of your nightly session?
I don't know. I'm gonna try this gratitude thing though and see if that'll help me. I mean, I have journaled before, but I
Hmm.
don't know, just putting my thoughts on paper, not so much about and I think for me it was laborious thinking about um me having to go through the task of writing out my day. And she was like, "No, you don't have to do all of that." So
Right.
it could just be some aspect of it, or I could put a picture down or something like that. I could doodle or something like that. So I still hadn't done it, but I'm going to.
Right.
All
So
right.
one thing I journal a lot on is a lot of quotes.
Uh-huh.
I write a lot of quotes. I may read it, then something may come to my mind, and I'm like, whoa, that's new. So I always keep a notebook close by. I run and I write in it real quick because sometimes it's a inspirational thought. It may be from a conversation I may have with someone, and then it may spark from my mind. And I'm like, oh, can you hold a second, please? I run and write it down in that book because it's something that I never said or never really heard before. So now I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me write that down because this is an Oz note.
Oz note. Okay. So listen, I will say I do write notes in
Yeah,
my phone. I mean, I keep
yeah,
like I got notes for days.
you
Um,
do.
but and maybe that might be an easier task for me is like to put it in my phone because
Right.
that's where I do. But I also I keep notebooks too,
And
so
you write a lot of notes.
I
You
do.
always write in notes
I
on all your shows, so you can reflect all the way back. So one of the good thing to do is like as you go through all these talk show notes that
Mhm.
you write for your own self is by your own writing. So review it and
Uh-huh.
then just write a short paragraph of what you got out of it and your own experience, bring it together and write a short paragraph. You don't have to write no full
Oh,
thesis or anything like that. Just a short paragraph, condensed, comprehensive
okay.
paragraph. And
I
then just every show, and by the time you look at it, by the time the year done, you just wrote yourself
I got a book, huh?
a conversation with Nicole journal.
There you go. Actually, I'm supposed to be working
That's
on a journal, Ozzy, to be quite honest with you. You peeped my hand. Uh,
okay.
all right. Audrey said she likes the three thing daily. I'll take that challenge to do that. All right, Audrey, we gonna hold each other accountable on that. And we got Mr. Michael Cork on. He
Hey,
said,
Michael, how you doing? Happy
"Yeah,
holidays, sir.
Nicole, why aren't you writing? Hey, 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 get off me, man. Get off me. I'm gonna write, Michael Cork. I'm gonna write. All right. Iris, journaling is a healing activity. It helps me
Yes, it
process
is.
so many things and emotions. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Gloria, that she said, good evening. I'm using this for motivation to journal. Yes. Wisdom notes will benefit others. Indeed. All right. And Jokeisha said, I do a devotion call every day except Sunday, and I lead on Monday. So gratitude is expressed daily. We talked about this, so I know it makes a difference. So I'll include this in my weekly fast. All right. Wonderful. Thank
Awesome, Jakeisha.
you. Yeah.
Wow, Jakeisha is on the show. Hey, Jakeisha. Yes,
Oh my
appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Indeed,
Yes.
indeed, indeed.
You
So
know,
I would like for us to kind of as we get ready to wrap up, I want folks to share ways that they show gratitude because I think like I mentioned earlier, I did do a segment on Cork's show this morning
mhm,
on gratitude, and some of the things that were mentioned I thought were kind of unique. Like one of the ones that I thought was pretty cool was to do these gratitude cards, do 52 of them, and give
mhm.
them to someone, and they can open them up weekly. So that could be even like a holiday gift, just these, like you said, you like quotes. So maybe it's a motivational quote or a gratitude quote on a card, like I said, 52 of them, and then they can open them up and that can encourage them throughout the year. So if y'all don't mind, in the comments, let us know, how do you show gratitude? Give us like 2 or 3 ways that you show gratitude. Let us know. All right, Ozzy. As they are doing that, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of give us some closing thoughts
Mhm.
and then share how folks can connect with you. I know this hour went by super fast,
Super fast.
but we're trying to get you back to your Eagles too. So
Well, thank you kindly. Hopefully, we're leading. Nobody put up the score, please. I appreciate that. Don't do that. We are having a serious gratitude moment.
we are.
Yes, in everything, give thanks, right? Yes. So, in the closing remarks, I really want to emphasize on going into the new year with a mindset of gratitude. And the reason of doing so, it will enhance and strengthen your being, your mental well being, developing resilience, increasing your self esteem and self worth, and promoting empathy and kindness in your life to others. And in doing so, it will actually improve your overall well being and your life because now you're actually walking in the light and in the light of gratitude with no expectation, no grudges, easy to forgive, easy to forget, and easy to understand. And the only way for that to come into our lives is to cultivate a positive mindset of gratitude. Not like, oh, I'll be grateful when I get this, when I receive this, then I will show. Because therefore, you're showing that it's already in you, but you're not willing to cultivate it and let it develop in order to experience life in the fullness. As I said in the earlier segment, that I believe gratitude is the key to heaven. So if you want heaven to pour into your life and through your soul, walk and live and cultivate this one thing to build into your entire fiber of your being gratitude.
All righty. There you have it. Thank you, Ozzy.
You're
Tell
welcome.
folks how they can connect with you.
You could connect with me on Facebook, on IG, and you could either email me at the Oz Corner at gmail.com and just keep in touch. I'm not hard to find. My business that I work with is actually private business. And if you're in a Hampton Roads area and you're looking for services and a mental health skill builder, and you are in the area because that's where we service, please give me a call, email me, and let me know. And we could take it from there because it's all about enhancing life and building everyone to live their life independent and strong and living a life that they could actually find worth living,
Oh,
because especially in this season here, there's a lot of things that going on in people's life that we cannot even phantom, especially during this season. But let's walk in it with thankfulness. Let's be thankful for the little things, you
yeah.
know, and don't wait to see someone suffering, but be in the place to give to someone who may be suffering and be a support and be a comfort because we have empathy. And the only way that could come by is actually having gratitude and knowing the source.
Yes. Amen. 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 All right. So a few folks have chimed in about how they show gratitude. Audrey said, gift, text, or call random, a positive gesture. Just call to check on you. So,
That is
Audrey,
wonderful.
I love that. I
That's
actually did a
that's
little of
brilliant.
that yesterday, that just called to check on you or text to check
Mhm.
on you. So that's a great way. Cherise, I show gratitude by giving and supporting others. All right, thank you. Marlene, I try to remember to thank God for the beauty all around me. Yes, blue skies, butterflies, trees, etc. It reminds me of his majesty and that we are to stop and show gratitude for all of his creations. Yes,
Oh,
love
that is just beautiful right there.
it.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's beautiful. I love that.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Audrey, nice positive energy and vibe. Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you
You're
for being
welcome.
here with us.
Thanks
And
for joining. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And if you all found this to be beneficial, let us know. For those of you who may be watching the replay or are new to the platform, I invite you to subscribe to Conversations with Nicole. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And the focus is on mental health in Black and Brown communities specifically, and encouraging us to get our checkup from the neck up. So I first want to thank you, Ozzy, for
You're
being here.
welcome.
Yes. And then thank the viewers. Many of you, are on here on the regular. And so I really appreciate that support. It means so much to me. So let's continue this conversation of gratitude and not only continue the conversation, but show the gratitude, right? Through some of the things that were mentioned, calls, texts, gifts, being grateful for nature, uh, giving notes, things of that nature. So, there are many ways that we can show gratitude. So, we definitely want to keep this conversation going and share this link with somebody that you think can benefit from this. Because again, you never know how it might help somebody.
Yeah.
So, Ozzy, happy birthday.
Oh, sniff, sniff. Thank you, Nicole. And Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year. I know we're gonna chat before the new year comes along, and I may all prosper and all blessings and everything good come into your life, Nicole, and everyone that is listening. Good health, strength, courage, and put your vision on paper.
Yes.
Write down a plan because the word says many are the plans of a man's heart, but the Lord will that will prevail. But write your plan down on paper. Thank you so much, Teresa.
Hmm.
Write your plan down on paper and give God the eraser.
All
But
right.
write something down because if you don't have a plan written down, they it's basically smoke. Because now
Okay.
if you visualize it, now you could thank God for interacting and intervening into the plan and magnifying it for his honor and glory.
All right. So y'all heard it, right? The vision, make it plain. So Ozzy's birthday is next week, Monday, Christmas Day. We will
Yes.
not be having a show on Christmas Day. But you all have a great holiday. We will be having a show on Wednesday on end of life planning from a legal perspective. We have attorney Felicia Thomas who will be on with us. So you definitely don't want to miss that. A conversation. We'll be talking about wills and trust and estate planning, so definitely bring your comments and questions to that discussion. Again, you get all these happy birthday wishes.
Thank you so much, everyone, for the happy birthday notes early. Thank you.
Robbie. Yes, thank you.
Robbie, thank you.
Yes. So,
Yes.
y'all, please be safe out here. And thank you again for tuning in. And we will see y'all next time. Have a good night.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.